Today I want to discuss the first presidential candidate in the race to the Oireas. Heather Humphreys wasn't Fine Gael's first choice. In fact, less than a year ago she stepped down from her role as deputy leader of the party because she said that she was too tired. But in a miraculous turn of events, she has seemingly bounced back and now she's ready to take on the highest office in the land. So let's take a look at Heather Humphreys and see what her qualifications are for the presidency. Back in 2014, Humphreys was appointed as Minister of Arts, Heritage and the Gaeltacht, but just a few months into her role, she found herself in trouble. She was accused of handing out jobs to the boys when she appointed a successful businessman with links to Fine Gael to a position that would have given him an advantage in the upcoming Shannon elections. Said businessman had little to no experience for the role that she gave him, and ultimately the entire situation forced Humphreys to publicly admit that she regretted the decision. During her time as Minister for the Gaeltacht, Heather Humphreys was somehow able to avoid learning the language, which would be the equivalent of our Minister for Housing being unable to deliver housing. Anyway, after a few years of carefully dodging our national language, Heather Humphreys took aim at one of the most historically significant sites in the entire country. Moore Street, as a lot of you will know, was where many of the 1916 rebels gave their lives for Irish freedom. It is a street that is in every history book that you'll read, but according to Heather Humphreys, who was actively trying to demolish parts of it, those parts just weren't historically important. Quote, "Then, as a minister, she passed on a letter that allowed a farmer who had been charged repeatedly with animal cruelty to not only get away with the most recent charges, which a judge described as shocking and stomach-churning, but to continue owning animals." And let us not forget the fact that Heather Humphreys has been a loyal and constant Fine Gael member, minister and deputy leader. While thousands of children became homeless, while her party colleague promised sick children surgeries that never came, while houses became so expensive that generations of Irish people will never own their own home, while rent prices continued to rise, while gas and electricity prices continued to rise, while grocery prices continued to rise, while the cost of living in general continues to rise. Oh, and I almost forgot that her husband was in the Orange Order, her father was also in the Orange Order, and she allegedly told reporters to, quote, "fuck off and leave me alone," when they tried to question her about derelict properties that she owned in the middle of a housing crisis that her party created. And when I said at the start of this video that Heather Humphreys stepped down because she was tired, this is her actual quote. "I'll be 65 next year, and if I ran again I'd be nearly 70 by the end of the next Dáil term, and I'm just not physically able to keep going for that long." So, is Heather Humphreys going to get your vote? Let me know down below.